You're welcome, friends. This moment, let's learn something about impeccable coordination or commitment. Great leaders are leaders who work with impeccable coordination or impeccable commitment, because as transformational leaders, they understand who they are. As earlier stated, they understand who they are, and they have been able to gain emotional mastery to commit themselves impeccably when it has to do with conflict or issues on ground. What does it mean to have impeccable commitment or impeccable coordination? When there are issues, this leader makes intentional approach. He's intentional about solving the issues. He's intentional about making the steps, stretching forth the hands to establish commitment from others, to establish peace, and to ensure that the organization or the group works well. That's impeccable coordination. You have been able to master yourself. You have been able to gain control, gain coordination of your emotions, so that you can commit yourself to the engagements that will ensure peace, engagement that will ensure that the organization moves well. That's impeccable commitment or impeccable coordination. It is very, very critical for us to understand that as leaders, there is nothing that you can do outside who you are. Most of what you do is actually things you do from who you are. You work out of who you are. You can offer what you don't have. And so it's important to coordinate yourself, to grow your capacity, to the extent where you have been able to master, or where you've been able to gain a level of mastery, so you can coordinate yourself amidst provoking circumstances. So impeccable coordination is being able to master, being able to control yourself and master your emotions, and stand out and not be found and not be lost in the rubble of conflict, and not be lost in the rubble of emotions. So you reach out. How do human interactions involve when it has to do with impeccable coordination? This is what we do when we extend the hand of reach to a friend. You can extend a hand. You can hang out with a friend because you want to establish a better relationship. All right. So you can speak over a cup of tea. You can speak over a cup of coffee. You can take time out. You can walk. You can walk yourself in the woods or in the recreation parks or in several places where you think that it's most necessary to engage. You can engage at several points, but what is important is that you have made necessary commitment. You have become intentional about committing yourself to ensure that you relate well with one another. That is very, very important. So impeccable coordination has to do with your being intentional about making peace. You're being intentional about your relationship with others. It mustn't be that there's conflict, but it must also be that you can coordinate yourself in such a way where you don't raise conflict, or you don't increase the tempo of the issues on ground. That's what impeccable coordination is about. And I think that as great leaders and transformational leaders, you have to take that responsibility. You have to be intentional and coordinate well. Most people avoid the challenge. They avoid others because they know that they have not reached that level where they have been able to master their emotions. You don't work by avoiding. You confront it head-on, but not necessarily confronting it, but because you have been able to master yourself and you can coordinate. So you make some impeccable commitment to ensure that you work well, and you also bring others on board to ensure that everyone works well. That's what it means. You must work with people. Human interactions must advance. Human interactions must grow, and human interactions must not create toxic environment. They must create environments where everyone should be happy to work with. And then as a leader, you have to be able to take that impeccable commitment, to make that impeccable commitment to engage everyone on board. That's what it means to have impeccable coordination. Thank you so much. I'm sure that we can have more time in other videos. Before then, see you. Bye.